In this lesson we're going to look at more notes on string 2, we're also going to look at notes on string 3 and also some open bass strings as well as the open E string that we've already looked at. This is going to end up with perhaps our longest song to date called The Silly Hillbilly, and there we'll be playing high notes and low notes at the same time to give us a nice full sound to the song. So we start off on page 3 of the book now, looking at notes on string 2. We've already played note B, which is string 2, the open string, note C, fret 1 of course on string 2, and now we're going to introduce note D. Note D is fret 3 of string 2. So fret 3, I'll give it a waggle so you can see that, of string 2. And that's D. Note D lies on the second line down on the music stave, so we can see the top line. The top space of course is note E, so the second line down is note D. We're just following the alphabet going up and down the music stave. So note D is in the space in the line above the space of C. So we've got notes B, C and D all on string 2 as shown in the diagram and the neck diagram in the book as well. The note D line dance, so this is the start of the preparation of a song that we're going to play later on in this lesson. We can see that we start off with 2 note E's, and again a good technique here now is for you to perhaps just spend a little bit of time and just say the note names, reading them. So you could go E, E, D, D, E, E, D, and that will tell you whether you're comfortable in reading the notes. If not, of course, just go back to the previous lessons, have a look and just check that you're taking in that information. I've suggested that we start off with the index finger to play the 2 E's, so I'll just play that. I'll go through this really slowly to help us. So we start off with E and E, that's index and middle on my right hand. And the reason that is done is that when I play a D now, if I go back to the E's, E, E, you can see, perhaps on the overhead camera there, that my index finger is more aligned to string 2. It's not crossed over, so it wouldn't be the middle finger playing, it's in a nice order across the strings here. So don't worry about this too much, but it's just something to remember if you can. It will help you in your playing later on. So I'll start off with my finger 3 hovering just around the note D. I'm not going to place it on the D at the moment, so you can do if you wish, but if it's starting to mute string 1, then perhaps just lift it away and just let that E string ring. So we'll start off by playing E, E, D, D, E, E, D. I kept my finger 3 down there because once it was on it was nice and comfortable. One thing I do want to point out here now, now we've got to play that note and see where it lies on the music stave, is use of finger 3 or finger 4 to play note D. Now for children who have smaller hands, note D is quite comfortable with the 4th finger. It means it's not such a big stretch for example if they're playing note C and then to get to D. I find that finger 4 is good, and in fact finger 4 is a very good finger to use really for note D here, and perhaps some high notes we'll look at in the next lesson. It's your choice, practice whichever way you wish. So if you want to use finger 3, use finger 3, if you want to use finger 4, use finger 4, and ideally try the song with both fingers, once with finger 3, once with finger 4. Right, so we start off then, again I'll start with a D with finger 3 though this time for me, so I'm going to go E, E, D, D, E, E, D, E, E, D, D, change here, D, D, E, just a little trick to remember. Then we go to note D, so this is line 2 of the song, D, D, C, C, D, C, D, D, C, C, mistake, you almost caught me out that time. We've got the 8 bars there, and really the main thing to look for is just check you're walking your fingers each time. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you start off with middle or index, it doesn't matter, but just try to keep walking them all the time. Say the note names and then play the song. Exercise number 7 now. So we have cuckoo. I called it cuckoo cuckoo, and we'll understand why in a moment. If I read the notes, we've got E to C, E to C. The C's are of course minims that last for 2 beats. And then we had some extra notes. This time you can see why I've said play E with a middle finger on the right hand there, and then C with an index finger. So again, it's like the middle is playing string 1 and the index is best lined up for string 2. So if I play this now and go E, C, the C lasts for 2 beats, and you can hear that the way of remembering that kind of interval between the 2 notes is E, C, that's a nice way of remembering the difference between those 2 notes. We move then to note D, so we get D, 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 D. And we're back to our cuckoos. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just changes there, we go to B's and end up with a C, the C of course lasting for 3 beats on the end. We've got a repeat sign, so we've got 2 little bars, a thin one and a thick one with double dots. If there's no other of those symbols, you just go back to the beginning and you can repeat the song. So I'll play that song all the way through and let's see what this sounds like. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So hopefully I was alternating my fingers best as I could in there. Of course, when we're reading, it's always difficult to keep a brilliant technique going of walking fingers and so forth, but just try as best you can. Notes on string 3 now, which is our G string. You see from the neck diagram next to that title there, we have string 3 is G. So that's a nice easy one to remember, it rhymes. String 3 is a G. You can see the next note is an A that I've written down there. So A is fret 2. So again, we take that C shape of our hand, bring it around, and now I'm going to put finger 2 on fret 2, my left hand 2 on fret 2 of string 3. So I get an A, G and A. Again, think about that technique, thumb behind the fingers there, halfway up the neck, fingertips coming straight down and behind the fret wire to get a good sound, and just pressing enough that you get the right sound. Musically, on the stave, note G is the second line from the bottom, and we've talked about the treble clef where the curly bit encompasses the second line from the bottom, which means that that line is a G, and A sits in the space above note G, so we can see that in the music. So we have exercise 8, it's just a short study, nothing too exciting here, just playing G's and A's. Again, try saying the notes, so G, 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 A, and that will help you realise the difference between the notes on the lines and the spaces. So here we go. So we have G, 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 A, 2, 3, A, G, 2, 3, A, 2, 3, and then of course we have a repeat. That will take us to exercise 9, and I will probably do that now in the next lesson in order to keep the video length times nice and short.